Hi everyone, today what I'm going to do is a tutorial on skin camouflage techniques. I'm the perfect candidate. I hate working on myself, but I am the perfect candidate for skin camouflage. So what I'm going to do today is show you how to colour match, how to prep the skin, and to also use hygienic ways of working. In the tutorial I've done previous, we talked about consultation techniques, so obviously take everything I said in that tutorial into consideration. Today is going to be more application techniques. I have numerous amounts of skin camouflage stuff that I could use. As you can see, I've had a major breakout. I have acne rosacea. I also have adult acne. At the moment I've got a bit of a kidney problem, so I'll get a lot of blemishes around my sort of chin, jaw, sort of mouth area. So I'm going to be doing some skin camouflage techniques to try and make myself look and feel a bit better, because I hate my skin without makeup on. So the first thing what I'm going to do, I cannot swear by this product anymore. This is my favourite toner in the world. It's Glow Tonic by Pixie, and I start off, I've already got a clean face. I've already given myself a clean with the wash that goes with this, the Glow Tonic wash. So I'm just going to go over my skin now with the toner or the tonic, and I'm going to prep my skin this way. So I'm going to go over my skin, avoiding obviously the eye area, working particularly around my oily areas. Okay, so my skin's really dehydrated at the moment and very dry, but I do get really oily around my nostril area. I tend to get a little bit oily sort of in this sort of area as well, between my eyebrows. So very much T-zone, sort of simple. Strangely, I have no oil. It's very dry around my mouth area. I have just got really bad spots because of my poor kidney and my poor diet, really, if I'm going to be honest. So I'm just going to cleanse and tone my whole face. And then I'm going to give myself a little bit of moisture. Okay, if you've got particularly oily skin, you don't have to particularly do this part, but my skin, as I said, is very dehydrated. So I'm going to use a mixture of the Glam Glow Moisture Trip. I'm going to just pop a tiny little bit of that on my hands. I have washed my hands to every inch of their life. They're peeling. Okay, I'm just going to work that into my skin and down my neck. Okay, then I'm going to use my staple favourite. You can all guess what this is going to be next, because I'm particularly dry at the moment. I'd left this at college, so I've had to order some more in my Egyptian magic. Okay, another reason why my skin has erupted, because I haven't had this to use. So once again, you have to work this in. You use the tiniest amount of this. Okay, and when you mix it in, just a pea-sized amount, you can see, I don't know if you can see that, it turns into like an oil. Okay, so I'm going to feed my skin with this bad boy. I'm going to work that in. I'm just going to leave that to sort of soak for a little while, or I normally would leave it for about a minute, and work that into my skin. Okay, but we don't have a minute, so I'm just going to take off the excess. Normally I'd let that seep in a little bit, but I'm going to take off this excess with a tissue for now. Okay, so that's the skin really prepped. Okay, I'm just going to use my hand wipes, my hand sanitizer, bear with me. And now what we're going to start doing is our skin colour match. So the lighting's not great in here, I'm really sorry. I haven't got all my mod cons because most of it's at college, or I haven't got it. So I'm going to be using the Veil Cover Cream kit that you get. Okay. And you get an assortment of colours. Okay, so you should never go by what the colour looks in the actual containers. You should always test these. And what I would say is a little goes a long way. So when you're doing this, what you want to do is decant a little bit of product out. So I've got my spatula. I actually know what my skin colour matches, but for the sake of this, I'm going to go for, I've got Sun Glow, I've got Tan, and I've got Oyster. Okay, so I'm going to try each of these out. And what you want to do is just apply a tiny bit of each on your jawline like you would with normal foundation. Okay, I'm going to try those out. So then what I'm going to do, see that one's a bit too pale. That one's not too bad, but it's got a bit too much of a sort of yellowy undertone to it. And then the tan is pretty perfect. So what I'm going to do now is just use my cotton pad just to remove that. I'm actually going to mix a bit of tan and a little bit of oyster. So I'm going to mix two together to hopefully get my perfect skin colour match. Okay, so I'm going to decant those out and I'm going to mix them together, and then I'm just going to test that out on the other side, maybe by my chin. And for me, that's pretty perfect, and that's going to get rid, because I don't like, with the rosacea, that gives me quite red skin, and I actually hate it. It's not something I want, okay, although I don't really want to look as pale as I am. I've also got really bad under eye circles as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tiny bit of rose. Okay, so I'm going to do a bit colour correction. So in your kits you get a rose. So I'm going to once again decant a tiny amount of this. It's quite a dark rose, this one. I'm decanting a tiny bit of this rose, but I'm not going to put it on straight. Okay, I'm going to mix it in with a little bit of the colour that I've just mixed. So a bit of my concealer, so my tan and my oyster. And I'm just going to lighten that up a little bit. And I'm just going to apply. And I find the best way to apply this is with fingers. Okay, there's 3 different types of methods of application. So you can use your fingers, you can use a brush, or you can use a sponge. Okay, I tend to use all 3. Okay, but when I work on the eye area, I just find this a little bit more delicate, especially if you use your ring finger, because you can't apply too much pressure with that. And I'm just going to apply that. You can kind of see already how quickly that has sorted out my under eye circles, and they are pretty horrendous. So I'm just very small amounts of product, and I'm just patting with my finger all the way around. I'm probably going to do one side of my face, and that is it. Okay, you can use, obviously you've got a green. Okay, and I tend to do the same thing with this, and everyone's got their own preference. Some people put a tiny amount on just pure green. Okay, so obviously with redness you'd use a green colour corrector. But I tend to think I'm not a big fan of colour corrector, and I tend to find that you don't get that horrible greeny sort of undertone to your skin if you mix it in a little bit with the concealer colour that you've mixed. So now what I'm going to do is just pat over that spot. I mean, look, it's already disappeared. I mean, that is one beast, so that's going to take a lot. Okay, I'm just going to apply this colour corrector first of all over my red areas, and I've got plenty. I'm going to have to conceal this bit. Okay, I tend to go really red underneath here as well, so I'm just going to just apply that. And can you see, I don't know if that's very clear, but there's no green undertone to that. Okay, it's used as a deterrent, and it diminishes the redness, but it's not left that green undertone because you mixed it with your concealer. So I find that's the best way. And I tend to go a little tiny bit with this one around my nostril, because that's another place where I have a lot of red. Other than that, that is pretty much how I like it. At this point you could go in with a sponge, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go in with my brush and I'm just going to softly blend. As I say, I'm only going to do one side of my face. I'm just going to work, and I don't drag the brush at all. What I still do is use this stippling technique. It tends to make sure that any product sort of sits on the skin properly. It doesn't take away the product at all. All it does is help sort of blend it into the skin, but it works with the natural oils of the skin so that it doesn't move around too much. Okay, so that's pretty much, look at that horrible side. Then that side's pretty concealed, so I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the actual skin tone that I've mixed up, and I'm going to work that in. So I'm going to do this one though with a brush this time. Okay, and then I'm just going to go over just the areas I want concealing. Okay, because the thing with Skin Camouflage products, you can actually use other products over the top. But one thing obviously you do have to bear in mind that the products that you do use are not oil based. Okay, so they must be oil free, because oil will remove this Skin Camouflage cream. Okay, it will break it down and it will just remove the product that you've just worked hard to sort of conceal. So I'm just going over with my skin tone colours in all the areas where I want to lift, brighten and conceal. Make myself look and feel a bit better. Okay, I tend to go a little bit red above here, so I'm just going to apply a tiny bit of that just on here as well, and I'm just going to use my fingers just to soften, once again using that pattern motion just to soften blend, and then I will use the pattern motion with my foundation brush as well. Okay, so I'm getting quite pleased with that now. Okay, and then you'd go in with your powder. Okay, so I'm going to go for translucent powder just because I can, and because I have it, and I'm just going to apply the tiniest amounts. Okay, and because this is cream based, what you need to do, I think that's covered really well and I wouldn't like to reapply, but what you can do with this, if you feel like your blemishes are still showing, the redness is still showing once you've powdered, then what you can do is you can actually reapply the product, so the cream based product, over the top of this and then powder, so you repeat those steps. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is go in and I'm going to complete my makeup look. So my oil-free foundations that I do have, bear with me, are House of Glam Dolls, my favourite as always. I'm going to go in with these. Okay, I tend to use Y1 and M2 to mix together. So Y1 is a yellow based foundation, M2 is pink based. Okay, it seems strange mixing those two together, but it tends to work for me. Okay, so I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to mix it in with a little bit of Fixology Matte. Okay, so I'm going to use Fixology Matte. Oh, excuse me, what? I'm going to use a little bit of that. Now they're all oil-free based products. Okay, and from here I'm going to blend in over the top my foundation. Okay, I'm not going to finish, I'm going to do like a little time-lapse video of a finished face. Okay, but I just want to show you the Skin Camouflage technique, so what you'd need to do in an assessment. Okay, and the key is not to apply this Veil Cover Cream all over, although it's such a good concealer that you could be tempted to do that, and I have done that before. I've literally used that as a foundation and covered my whole face and half my body as well. As you can see, you've seen me now without makeup on, and I kind of need it. So I'm gonna go around and pat that in. And there you have your foundation over the top. And I don't know if you can see that very clearly. Horrendous, nearly flawless. So I'm really quite happy with that. You can kind of sort of see the difference there. Okay, I'll try and do a before and after as well. I did take a horrible before photo. I'm going to be really brave and just use it. So that is basically what it is. So what you need to do is you decant your products, chest and your skin. Then I would prep your skin, get it all ready, particularly concentrating on a toner, and then do your colour matching and decant all your product, mix it together, use any colour corrector that you need. I do recommend, have a little experiment. I do recommend that you always mix the colour correctors with whatever skin tone that you've chosen. Have an experiment. You might find that it's easier to do it the other way, where you put it on pure, blend that in, and then apply your skin tone. It's up to you to really discover what way you find best. As long as you're decanting things properly and you're getting that correct skin colour match and you understand the colour correction, that's really the key. And then it's the application. So you can apply with fingers, as long as you've decanted the products and you've got clean hands. You can use a sponge or you can use a brush, or like me, use all three. Okay, I haven't used a sponge just because I don't have one at the moment, but I'd kind of use a bit of everything to make sure it's all sort of set into the skin and settled. And then you can start applying, once you're happy that's all concealed, an oil-free foundation to sort of mix in with that and go over the top. And then you can put your usual makeup on as well. Okay, so I'm going to do a little time lapse on finishing my makeup. Okay, any questions, you know what to do, guys. Leave a comment or you can email me. Many thanks. Bye.